So we're in our new series on Moses. And in order to get us prepared for today's story, we have to look back and remember that the Pharaoh that is living at this time, he does not like that the Hebrew nation, the Israelites, are growing and growing and growing. And he had commanded that the midwives kill at birth all boys. And when that didn't work, he then demanded that all boys were thrown into the Nile River. And that's important for us to understand what happens when Moses is born. So everything in the Bible is true. And this is what we're told in Exodus 2 and verses 1 through 10. It's a true story. So there was a Levite man who was married to a woman, and they became pregnant with a child. And when he was born, they saw that he was so fine. And so they decided to hide him, and they hid him for 3 entire months. And when they could hide him no more, they then went and got a papyrus basket. And they took this papyrus basket and they covered the bottom of it with pitch, tar, so that it would float in the Nile River. And they went and they placed him on the Nile River in the basket up by the reeds. Now, his little sister was following along because she wanted to see what was going to happen to her little brother. And at this same time, Pharaoh's daughter and her maids were walking along the river. And as they were walking along, they saw the basket. And when they saw it, she said to one of her female slaves, "Go over and see what it is." And when she went over and she opened the basket, she saw that the baby was crying. And she realized it was one of the Hebrew children. And she had compassion upon him. And just then, his little sister came out of the reeds and she said, "Would you like for me to go find a nurse for him?" And Pharaoh's daughter said, "Yes. Why don't you go see if you can find someone?" Well, she immediately ran and got the mother of the baby and brought the mother back to Pharaoh's daughter. And Pharaoh's daughter said to her, "I will pay you to nurse this child. And when you are done nursing him, bring him back to me." And so his mother was able to take him and was able to nurse him. And when she could nurse him no more, she then took him back to Pharaoh's daughter, and she raised him as her own son. And she named him Moses because she had drawn him out of the river. May God honor the telling of his word. So when we listen to this passage, nowhere does it say the name of God. But how do you see the hand of God at work in the baby's life? And how do you see the hand of God at work in the mother as she obeys the law, but is more creative in how she applies the rule? What do you learn from the mother, or maybe even his sister, or even Pharaoh's daughter and her maids? These are some of the things that we should be asking ourselves. I am so glad that you're listening to these stories. Moses has a lot for us to learn. He was a great leader in the nation of Israel amongst the Hebrew people, and we can learn a lot of great leadership lessons from him. It is so good to be in the Word, be with Jesus, so that we can be transformed. Shalom, y'all.